Hello fellow horror fans on YouTube. Today's film is one that I never even knew existed before recently scrolling through Stephen King's IMDb page and noticing it there. All I read before deciding to check it out was that it had an evil, cymbal-banging toy monkey in it, and could you really ask for anything more than that? Well, let's see. I am Torstein from Cinema Terror, and this is the 1984 horror film The Devil's Gift. In The Devil's Gift, we meet the anxiety-ridden, family-oriented good guy David. He lives in a nice neighborhood with his girlfriend Susan and his little boy Michael. Things are going good for them, with the only exception being David's constant nightmares of losing his family. Things turn dark when Susan buys a cute little cymbal-playing toy monkey for Michael's birthday. This little devilish thing is possessed by a demon, and now David's fear of losing his family is slowly starting to become a reality. With nothing else but his love for Susan and Michael, David has to figure out what is causing all the disturbing events that take place in their home and fight off the supernatural to save his family and himself.
Hello? Michael?
The Devil's Gift is a low-budget production that actually first started out as a student film. The fact that it ended up being a full-feature film is impressive, but the final film also shows that they perhaps did not have enough material to make a film that runs for 90 minutes. I am sorry to say that The Devil's Gift is a bit of an uneventful and dull experience. Most of that has to do with simply nothing happening on the screen for big chunks of the film. The first half is nearly all character interactions, that do get us some familiarity with them, but much of it does little for the story. Thankfully, they did save it a bit by making most of the characters involved good people. Not necessarily the most interesting people ever put on screen, but they all came off as good-hearted, so it was hard to dislike them, even if the dialogue delivered does not get you excited about what's about to happen. The evil toy monkey is fun, but he seems to have unlimited power at times and is able to do some incredible stuff that makes it feel unlikely and illogical that David would be able to win against it. Especially when they goof it up by having him try to get rid of it by doing stuff like this. It was interesting to see how it influenced Susan into wanting to do harm towards Michael, but since there isn't that much time being spent on Susan as with David, it doesn't fully become as creepy as it had the potential to be. The production values are what you would expect, pretty low, and the film has a made-for-TV look and feel to it. The few scenes with supernatural events and effects taking place are decent and shows that the thing did have some potential, but would probably work way better in a shorter format. And that's actually what filmmaker Kenneth J. Burton did when he made his second feature 12 years later with the 1996 film Merlin's Shop of Wonders. That one features an edited down version of The Devil's Gift as one of its segments, and while I haven't seen that version, I feel confident in that one being an improvement over this one. Merlin's Shop of Wonders and Devil's Gift would turn out to become the only two movies that Burton made, or at least has made so far. Without having seen his Merlin movie, and judging him only on this, I would be positive to watching another feature film from him, even though I didn't care all that much for this one. The ones in front of the camera do as good as you can expect from a low-budget production. Bob Mendelsohn as David was likable, and he did have a good rapport with Bruce Perry, who plays the neighbor Pete. Strahan Robertson was not that great as Michael, but you can't really expect all that much from a child actor, especially on an indie film like this. It's funny how creepy child actors come across when they aren't able to portray their character in a believable way, so there is some fun to watching him in this film. The cursed monkey toy is what would make people see the Stephen King connection, as King had previously written a story about one for the men's magazine Gallery back in 1980. The story would be revised and republished as part of King's short story collection Skeleton Crew in 1985. The Devil's Gift would actually get the honor of getting a VHS release by the great Vestron video label, and that in itself would make me call this film a success. The Devil's Gift is a film that you can admire the young filmmakers for being able to put together, but I can't say that it was an enjoyable watch. The movie is too long for its material, goes along too slowly, has no atmosphere, and just lacks excitement. I don't see anyone that I can recommend this film for, unless you're just interested in seeing all the forgotten low-budget films that you can come across. The Devil's Gift is not worth hunting down and only gets the low score of 1.5 out of 5. Have any of you out there seen The Devil's Gift, or even heard of it? If you have, what were your thoughts on the film? And what is the most underrated Stephen King adaptation so far? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to hear me talk more about Stephen King related movies, then check out my review for Sometimes They Come Back Again. Oh, and also let me know if there is another Stephen King film that you want me to do a review of. And finally, before I end this, I want to give a shout out to my very first Patreon supporter, Danny. Considering I don't really have any benefits to offer or anything like that, I feel like the least I could do is at least give him a thanks here. And of course, if you also like what I'm doing with my channel and want to support it, then check out my Patreon page. The link is in the description box below. Thank you for watching, and I hope you return soon again for more horror related content here on Cinema Terror.